Before we do get started, as always, I do have to do our little disclaimer. So for Horizon Trust, we are a passive custodian, and as such, we are not able to provide investment advice. So be sure to do your own due diligence and all that nature before kind of coming to us. We are just going to be helping in reviewing documentation, making sure that your account is compliant with the IRS standards that we have to abide by. All right, let's see here. We have any questions in the chat? We don't have any questions right now. So
we get to just chit chat.
we get to just chit chat. Yeah. I was like,
how are you? You asked us how we are. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Yes. Getting situated with everything and, getting back into the rhythm of things.
Right.
It's
being gone for a few days. Now
yeah.
you're back in it.
Yeah. It took a moment to do the reset, but we're back and it's exciting to be back.
We're glad to have you back. Y'all don't know how much Alex does around here. So much all day long. We're looking to you for answers.
Well, it's very fun job getting to learn this entire industry, because for those of you that are here with us, you might also recognize that self-directing is not an easy task. It's not easy for any one individual to know everything. Maybe if you're a tax attorney, you might have a somewhat of an understanding on how to do everything, but even then, you draw the line. So that's kind of what we're here for you today. We want to answer those questions that you might have about self-directing, that we're able to then assist, whether it's LLC related, 401ks, IRAs, whatever your questions are regarding self-directing, we want to help answer those. So go ahead and kind of send us over some of those questions. We'll go ahead and get started now, and then we'll see what we can answer for you today. While kind of we get some questions in, I do want to start off with you guys talking about, I guess, 401ks. That's one of the things that's often brought up, and there's very specific rules around 401ks because not everyone qualifies. So can we talk to some of the qualifications of a 401k and why maybe that might be an advantage if you do qualify versus a normal IRA?
You're looking at me.
Listen, Chris is looking at you. Chris is looking at you too.
Yes. So a 401k would be, all of our accounts obviously are self-directed. So also referenced as a solo 401k. To qualify for a 401k plan, you do need to have a sponsoring company. So this is going to be a company that you're not employed with, that you're the actual employer. So you own the business. It can be with a spouse or a partner, but with no W-2 employees other than yourself or that partner, so whoever's the owner of that business. And then what we do is we add a retirement plan to that, a 401k. Similar to, I explain it to clients all the time as, like, I work for Horizon, I'm a W-2 employee of Horizon, and they're the sponsoring company of my 401k plan. You can do the same thing, except for you're now Horizon, the employer, and the employee being me. So you get to kind of double dip with that 401k plan. You can contribute. You get to make a lot higher contributions when you have a 401k plan than just a traditional IRA. So it's a really great vehicle to be able to contribute a lot more to. And then your employer, also being you, can contribute to that 401k. So it just, I would say contribution wise, it's huge to be able to add a lot more funds to your plan versus just the 7,000 that we're maxed out in an IRA if you're under the age of 50. And then of course we have the loan feature, which is everyone's favorite feature of the 401k. You can take a loan against your plan, where you hear that whole concept of be your own bank. So you're borrowing against your own 401k plan, and there's no stipulations to that loan. You take a loan against your plan, and you can use those funds to invest your own personal business. You can take a trip to Hawaii. You can pay off high debt, high interest debt. So it's just a really great way to use that money while paying yourself interest and still growing your retirement account.
And is there any specifications, Chris, that needs to be known for a 401k loan in order to take that?
Yeah, there's a few. The very first threshold, though, is 50% or $50,000. 50% of your account value, I should say, and then $50,000, whichever is less. So we look at your entire account. even if you have assets, if you have cash, if it mix of the two, we're looking at the account value, and then we're determining what you can take. So the max is always going to be $50,000, and that's the first thing. So as long as as long as you have the cash, you can take the money. And again, as she had mentioned, Amber mentioned, you can take it for whatever purpose. And a lot of people actually pay down their credit card. Yeah. That's a really good way to do it.
Back the interest versus
Exactly.
paying the bank. Like
Right.
I'd rather pay me than Amex.
Right.
And credit card's going to have 23 on average.
Exactly.
percent.
And then with this, you're setting your own interest rate.
Yeah.
So, and then the interest that you're paying back is actually going back into your own account. So it's beneficial. It's like having your own investment. You're being, as you said, being your own bank. So it's a really, really good tool to have. It's a really popular thing to do. I feel like a lot of people, as soon as they open a 401k,
First
the
thing they
401k
do.
loan is the very first thing that they take.
I'm sending them over to Chris.
So like it's awesome to see that you are able to do it. It's the only type of account that you can take a personal loan from, which is nice. So it happens often, and I think it's a really good benefit for yourself and for your account. So yeah,
It's a great tool, especially if you're looking for that personal gain right now, because everything within the retirement accounts for the benefit of that plan. So we're growing it. We want to grow it. So when we retire, we're able to take those distributions. But right now, if we need, well, I want to buy a rental property and I need that cash now. I don't need it going in my retirement account. It's a great way to take advantage of using that as a down payment or, whatever you're looking to do with those funds.
Yeah.
Just gives you that flexibility.
And as you kind of mentioned that, like looking to buy a rental property, you can do that within your self-directed account. But if you're doing it through a loan, then that's more personal. So now you can directly benefit from that rental
personal
property.
gain. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Versus in the retirement account, great for the growth of your retirement account, 100%, but it is all contained within that retirement plan.
yeah, no, it's definitely a benefit.
Yeah.
Kind of as you mentioned that I stayed at an Airbnb this past weekend,
Yeah.
and it was a very nice house, very big house. You can tell that they did some renovations to it and that it was newer. But I looked at how much we paid for the Airbnb, and I was just like, how much of this goes to the homeowner?
Yeah.
From one weekend. I was like, I just paid this dude's mortgage.
Yeah.
And that's one weekend.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I looked at when the house was available and it's rented. So this guy's Airbnb is doing great.
Yeah. A lot of those Airbnbs, they're rented out, especially obviously depending where they're located, like every weekend. And it's summertime. Everyone's traveling.
Yeah.
So.
Summertime, hot place with the pool. You're set. Wintertime, a mountain with snow, also set.
Yeah. Throw a jacuzzi in there. Win-win.
Extra. All right. We have a question in the chat. It's going from Kay Ellis. She retired 3 years, old 401k that wants to roll over to a Roth to invest in retirement real estate. Am I going to be taxed even though I won't spend the money, just invest in buying the real estate? So I guess you can both kind of tack onto that. So rolling over.
So it sounded like just because you were reading it. So she has an old 401k that she wants to convert over to a Roth, it sounds like.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, you can do that. We can go ahead, transfer the funds from your 401k. They would have to go into a traditional IRA, and then we'd have to do a conversion to a Roth account. You wouldn't be penalized the 10% early penalty fee that you would normally receive if you just took the funds directly, but you will be taxed on the conversion. So the funds that you convert over to Roth, that would be taxed at your current tax rate. That's something you always want to talk to a CPA about before you do any conversions, just to see how that's going to affect you tax-wise. Sometimes there may be other things going on in your tax situation on a personal side that can offset some of those taxes that you would incur when doing those conversions. So again, talk to a CPA, but it's definitely something that, as far as setting up the accounts and doing the transfers, we can help with.
I concur. No, what she said was perfect. Everything that she mentioned was great. So yeah, absolutely. 401k to the trad, then a conversion. Yes. But I did hear a second portion of that. She said to
and then just
purchase real
invest them.
estate.
Yeah. And then she won't spend the money, just invest it into real estate.
Okay. Yeah.
So she's making an investment. That's
yeah. Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, the conversion from the traditional IRA to the Roth, because you're going to a tax deferred to a tax free, then yes, you're going to have the the taxes on that. But as far as the real estate goes, whatever you're making, once it's within that Roth account,
Tax-free.
it's tax free. You're growing tax free, which is a really good benefit. So
Yeah.
if you're purchasing that real estate property, you can purchase it directly out of that Roth account. You direct your money to any pretty much self-directed alternative asset like real estate. And the money that comes in, as far as like maybe your interest or your earnings for rental proceeds and things like that, goes right back into your account, and you're benefiting in that way. So when it is time for you to take your money out as a distribution, then you're able to take the cash out without having to do any taxes.
Yep, tax
Yeah.
free. No capital
Absolutely.
gains, no taxes.
Mhm.
That's the way to go.
It is. So yeah, like Alex was
can go-
saying about the Airbnb,
Yeah.
like that's a great type of investment. You rent it out, you have someone there, even if it's short term or long term, and you
Yep.
just get the proceeds of the money coming in, and hopefully you have, you get a property that has a pool for the summer, and yeah, it's a win for you.
Yeah. And even then, this doesn't necessarily qualify for our clients because you do have to have one step away, but you could rent out rooms within a home. So,
Mhm.
but again, it doesn't work for our
That's your own
situation.
personal home.
Yeah. But you own a home and then you
Yeah.
rent out the entire rooms on Airbnb.
Yep.
So that works. Next question we have from Laxmi is rolling over 401k to annuities a good option? So one of the things is we are not financial advisors and cannot give that investment advice. So speak with a financial advisor or CPA about that. But Chris, is that possible?
Moving from an annuity to
401k to annuities, a good option.
Okay. Yeah. You can roll over money into an annuity. Yes, that is a possibility. Is it a good option? As you said, we can't give advice. Unfortunately, I don't know. You'd have to check to see if that's something that would benefit you. But unfortunately, I don't have that
And we
information.
don't set up annuities. So that would be
Correct.
something that you would be transferring if you already had a self-directed account with us and then you were wanting to move into an annuity
Right.
and just determining if that would be a good plan for you versus the self-directing and all the money you're making doing that.
Next question we have from Luliana is Greg was saying that there was a group of investors who have Horizon Trust invest in real estate. How is that done? Where are the projects done? So for that, there's just various opportunities. There's investors just that kind of reach out to, I guess, network each other. They've been in the real estate space for an extended period of time, so they've known one another. A lot of clients have come over because of real estate opportunities. So they've been with Horizon for an extended period of time because they heard about an investment opportunity into real estate through many parts of the country, and they use their self-directed retirement accounts to invest into these deals, whether it's through a fund, private money lending, or just purchasing interest in a company, or whatever that kind of might be. So we don't necessarily have something like that. We do have our investment corner, which has investment options. So again, you still have to do your own research and understand what is best for you and make sure that you're understanding everything. But once you kind of do see all that, you'll be able to further understand, I guess, what investment will be best. And the investment corner is exclusively available for Horizon Trust clients, so it is password protected. If you do not have the password, go ahead and just send us over an email to operations@horizontrust.com, and our concierge team will be able to respond with that investment corner password. And then another option that we now offer is we have a Facebook group that is also available.
To talk about
I
that.
was too.
I love
thought that was first.
I know.
Well, the reason why I brought it up second is because the Facebook group is listed on the investment corner because we do need to
Yeah.
have you agree
had a
to
plan.
terms. But yes, there's a logic behind the madness. But we do have a Facebook group, and in the Facebook group, you're able to network and talk with other Horizon Trust clients who might have a deal, because like we've mentioned, you can't invest into your own real estate deals. However, if you are a real estate professional and you are actively doing deals, you can use the Horizon Trust Facebook group to raise capital for your deals. You can put an offering in the group and say, hey, I have this rental property that I'm trying to acquire and I need earnest money or whatever the case may be. and get your deals.
Just network with people. For sure.
Yeah, networking. And we see conversations in there every day. So every day people are talking, they're communicating, they're posting deals, transactions, helping each other out and supporting one another. So that's another good place if you're an existing client to network and gain access. If you're not an existing client, what are you waiting for? Amber's right here, so she'll be happy to help you out. Just give us a call and then she can do so, but not right now because we are on this webinar. I need you to continue to learn more. But yeah, let's see. We just got another question. Leanne wants to say, can you recommend anyone to invest in technology or gold and silver? So it's a longer question, so I want to kind of read it fully out. So she just wants to know about some options and how to protect themselves because oh, interesting. This I did not know. Sorry, I know. I'll read the whole thing. Sorry, I had to pre-read. Can you recommend anyone to invest in technology or gold and silver? I know you can't recommend certain investments, just if you know a good place to find some options to invest in. Do you have the best recommendations for how to protect ourselves because the dollar is no longer the preferred currency as of Sunday, June 9th? So that was the part that I found interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, the specifics on the date too.
And yeah, that's very specific on the date. So we cannot give financial advice. We'll go back to that point. The investment corner
all day on the phone.
does have some options. I don't think we have any technology options as of yet. That might be something we could maybe look into, but that's nothing that I know of off the top of my head. As for gold and silver, that's more along the lines of precious metals. So we do have precious metal options available on the investment corner. And then Chris, can you kind of speak to precious metals a little bit on what that process looks like? And I guess, yeah, break it down for us because I have no idea how it works.
Okay. Well, just like any investment, right? You find your deal, you present those to us. So that might mean for precious metals, you're finding your own broker. You're finding your own broker. You're finding that person that you trust, that you want to go ahead and deal with. You guys settle on the metals that you want to purchase and then a price. So you're going to get an invoice from the broker. And once you have that, you can then go ahead and provide us with the documentation with the direction of investment form. And you're instructing us to move the money from your account to the broker to purchase the metals. The broker will then go ahead and release the metals and send it to a third party. The third party is a depository. The depository is similar to a bank, I guess, right? But they're physically right, a giant vault. There you go. They're holding your metals personally because you want to keep this away from you. You don't want to hold these metals personally because that would be a prohibited transaction. So you're going to put this into a vault, a depository that is selected between you and the broker. Once you guys determine who that depository will be, we send the money over to the broker. The money is received, the broker releases those metals and sends it to the depository. And then they tell us that we've received it and we put it into the account and it'll show your value in your account. So it's kept separate again, because you shouldn't hold your metals personally. We can't hold your metals personally because we're not a vault.
I used to make that joke all the time. I'd be like, oh, unfortunately, we don't have like a really cool little like vault I can go down and stare at everyone's gold. How cool would that be?
That would be really cool.
I'd be like down there having lunch, looking at gold all day. No, we don't get to do that.
But metals has become very like increasingly popular with it being an investment. So it's definitely another alternative to investing
into real estate. Yeah,
exactly.
I'd say it's one of the most popular, but besides real estate, you know, obviously the real estate's a large term of what you can do within that, but precious metals is a huge one.
Very much is.
Yeah. No, and I'm glad you kind of brought up the fact that of the depository and the fact that we do not hold them personally. And I liked your comment about going down there and having lunch. So because it's funny in the sense of like, yes, it'd be cool to walk in and just look
Yeah.
at all
Yeah.
this gold. However,
The
we've
security would not
yeah,
be fun. Those
we,
vaults are
we've
so secure.
we've had meetings with some depositories. So they're
Mhm.
the ones that are actually holding. So it's not the broker that's selling you the gold, it's the depositories that holds your gold.
Yeah.
And they gave us full information on how their process works, how they get all the metals in, how they allocate them, how they
Mhm.
hold them,
Yeah.
their security processes, everything. And
It's a lot.
it's a
It's
process.
a process.
There's a major
There is a
process.
door beyond a door beyond a door just to get to the next door.
And the next door can't open until the last door
Yeah.
closes, and there's so many
I
different
mean, it makes you
security
feel
factors.
comfortable though, knowing, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, I guess for well, now people are learning that they don't realize that, we got to experience that from the actual vault guys, but not
Mhm.
everyone gets to see how
Yeah,
intricate that is and
it really is.
how protected it is. So I know it made me feel really comfortable about like even having that conversation with people. I was like, oh, okay, this is super safe.
For sure. All right. Denise asked, I have a 401k. I have to decide how to utilize it with a significant amount. I'm confused by how this can be used to invest in real estate. I thought there's a penalty to pull funds from a 401k. How do I minimize the tax implications? I'm in a high tax bracket.
Okay. So I'm assuming, do you already have a self-directed account? Was that, or to already,
Mhm.
or maybe you need to set one up? Well, either way. So let's assume that you don't have an account with us
Yes.
already and you're wanting to transfer over. That would be the first step is just, give us a call. Myself or one of my colleagues will talk to you about actually setting up a plan here so we can move those funds into Horizon and then you'd be able to invest them in real estate. The goal would be that you're actually purchasing the real estate within your retirement vehicle, whether you do that directly through Horizon or through the checkbook LLC that we set up. You would identify the property that you want to invest in and then give us direction as the custodian. Okay, I'm going to buy property at 123 Main Street. And then all the documents would be written up in your retirement account. You'll work with Chris on that. She does all the paperwork stuff. She's amazing. And so from there, again, once you identify the investment, you give us direction and you purchase it in your retirement account. So it's not counting as earned income. You're not paying any capital gains or anything because it's in that retirement vehicle. So very different than as if you were doing it in your personal name. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, it definitely made sense. Um, let's see. Oh, I'm trying to bounce
First
around.
step with that one, I feel like schedule a call.
Yeah, so she did respond. She said she does. So I think she was answering yes, she does have a self-directed
Oh,
account.
okay,
Good.
Yeah.
perfect. Perfect.
So I think it is all set. So
So
if
if
you
you need help with the paperwork too, I mean, that's something our concierge team can help with if you're just not sure what the next steps paperwork wise is, or again, if you wanted to look into the checkbook side of things, so you just have direct access to those funds. Anytime I have clients that are wanting to purchase real estate, I highly recommend the LLC. It just really streamlines the process for you. So you're not having to submit so many documents. And Chris to tell you, nope, you need to do this. You need to do this. So the LLC does just make it really easy. Now you can simply just have your LLC, ABC Capital buy property at 123 Main Street and then run all your transactions through that.
Yeah, there is a little frustration when you're trying to make your investment, especially if it's real estate related
Yeah.
and you're on tight deadlines,
Mhm.
closings, and money needs to be sent and all of this. So sometimes when you're working with us to buy the real estate property, it can maybe seem a little frustrating, but
Mhm.
that's simply because we have to abide by IRS regulations to make
Mhm.
sure that the transaction is compliant.
Mhm.
So we always want to make sure we're taking care of that. And you mentioned the checkbook LLC. So
Yeah.
checkbook LLC is a great opportunity, not just for real estate, but for many other things.
Mhm.
So can you kind of elaborate on that? Like, what are some of the benefits of that?
Of the checkbook LLC, number one, just the speed of it. That's always my favorite. That's the biggest benefit. And I would say even more so with real estate. Of course, if you're getting creative, definitely. Some people like to get really creative with their retirement accounts. Greg's given the example of a client who purchased horses and then was leasing those horses out to the rodeo and
Cutting horse.
yeah, the cutting horse. And
Apparently it has to be mentioned in every webinar now.
I love it's such a great creative way to utilize these funds. And it just goes to show, yes, you hear about the standards, the real estate, the promissory notes, the private money lending, But people, they think of other ways, and that's great. I love when we hear these out of box ideas because there's nothing prohibited with it. You're not doing anything you're not allowed to do. It's all for the benefit of the retirement account. They're completely hands off in it. Um, so there's nothing wrong with doing that. However, when you're doing something like that, it is going to be a lot easier to manage that through an LLC because you're just going to have more day-to-day transactions for one. And then all the supporting documents that we would need to pass that investment. I think that's where the challenge would come in. Not that it's
Yeah.
prohibited, it's just
So
to your point.
it's not often making the initial investment that becomes the problem. The checkbook LLC is the flexibility for after that investment is made, what it allows you to then do with that investment. So if you have a rental property, you've now purchased this property.
Mhm.
If you needed the electricity paid,
Yeah.
through Horizon, you have to submit a form
Mhm.
to us along with the bill showing that you need the electricity paid.
Yeah.
Everything has to be in good order. We'll then cut a check and then send it out.
Mhm.
If you have your checkbook controlled LLC, you have a debit card. So you
Yeah.
can just log into a portal,
Literally just pay your bills.
pay your bills,
Mhm.
and then you're
That's
all
why I
set.
always say with real estate, it should almost be required. If you're buying real property, there are so many day-to-day transactions, and a lot of our clients are real estate agents. They get it. A lot of you have rentals on a personal side. You know that there's things that are, going to come up on a day-to-day task. If the air conditioning goes out on a Saturday, you don't have till, Tuesday for us to pay the bill. Your tenant is going to want that fixed ASAP, and the receiving party who's fixing it might not want to wait to be paid. So it's nice to, again, just have that access to instantly take care of any day-to-day tasks with managing those properties. Same thing with rehabbing. If you're rehabbing, I mean, there's a lot of money going in and out throughout that process. So it's just way streamlined, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's just convenient.
Yes.
Convenient
The
overall.
convenience.
I will also say though, it's not that it's required to have your LLC, right? It's a great benefit, super great benefit.
Not
I mean,
required.
We love it. We love it.
Unless you're my
But
client.
because I don't want people to steer away. It's not, you can still come and do your investment, your real estate investment through your account,
You
right?
can.
And doing it that way just means that you have another set of eyes to look at the documentation, to see it, to make sure it's, we're compliant with what we need to do, and then we can send it out. We are priding ourselves on going very fast.
Yeah,
Okay?
no,
With processing.
I
Yes.
will
So-
always I give you shout outs pretty much every Wednesday, I feel like, because Chris is always going above and beyond. I feel like on a daily basis, I'm like, hey, my client has this and it needs to be done right now. And I feel like I'm probably the one who's always saying everything is so urgent, but everyone comes to me and they're like, we're closing tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
I mean-
and you crush it. You do. You review everything. You're thorough, and you get it out right away, and it just helps all of us to create a great client experience. Like I couldn't do anything that I do without your team, 100%.
And that's 100% accurate. So Greg does pride with Horizon being the fastest in the
Yes.
industry. We're going to be the fastest in processing your transactions,
Yeah.
whether it's closing on a real estate deal or paying your electricity bill. It does not matter. We want to be the fastest in the industry.
Yep.
And the advantage of us doing it through Horizon is you do have that extra pair of eyes
Mhm.
and that accountability. So
And some clients like that, especially when they're
Yeah.
brand new. They're like, I don't want to mess anything up.
Yeah.
I want you to review everything. I'm okay with that, which is,
and if you've never operated a business or something like that, so I'm new to the entrepreneurial aspect. I have my own LLC. I have to manage those books independently
Yeah.
because I don't, well, now I have a CPA, but I don't, but I didn't. And that was very complicated. I have to track every transaction, money in, money out, and making sure that everything was in good order. Where Horizon is doing that, your retirement account is that ledger tracking every single
Right.
transaction. And we're not going to allow you to make a prohibited transaction.
As long as we have all the details.
As long as we have all the details.
we
Asterisk.
know what you have.
Big asterisk.
I mean, so as Amber was saying, like having an LLC is great because it gives you the flexibility to be able to pay things immediately. But you keep records for yourself. So
Yep.
you do have to maintain your own records and make sure that everything is in order.
Good point.
When you are doing it directly through your retirement account, it's the same process.
Mhm.
The only difference is you have another person looking in, but the owner of this property, we're talking about real estate mostly, right? But the owner of this property was your IRA or your
Mhm.
401k, whatever type of account you have.
Yep.
If it's under your LLC, the owner of this property is the LLC.
Yep.
And then you would act as the manager of this. And the manager has the ability to make all those transactions and do things.
Yep.
But doing it through the account is very similar. There are a lot of tools that you can have to assist you to make sure that you're getting things done. Like if you have a property manager, right? Property manager is always a good option to have. They're going to also help you with your record keeping and maybe collecting the rental income. And they'll be able to help you pay some of those bills too. So those are options. Like there's other ways to do it where you have more assistance.
Yeah.
So there's tons of different ways to do something. We always say, if you want to buy real estate, no problem. What's the structure?
Yeah.
What exactly are you trying to do? Because you can do things so many different ways. So
That's me every day on the call. I'm like, well, if we did it this way,
Right.
but there's a loophole for that.
the good thing is like you can always send documents in advance too. You can send us the documents, tell us what you're looking to do, and we can say, okay, for us to be able to make this investment, we'll need this, and it's on your direction of investment form. We try to make it simple where it gives you the most common type of investments and then a little list of what documents that we'll need. So you can always send things over, especially if it's real estate. We can always send you instructions of what we're needing for like the title and send that over to you. And you'll have kind of a little guideline and then you can forward that over to title and then make it a smoother process.
Yep.
So there's always ways to do things. So
I agree.
All right.
I
So
give everyone the option, by the
yes,
way. I'm just saying. There's benefits to both.
for sure. Sure.
there's benefits to everything. So
What else
one of
we
the
got?
questions that I kind of just saw pop in was this: how does Horizon primarily focus only on real estate asset class? Are you set up for crypto or DeFi classes? So I only saw the first part of the question. Do we only focus on real estate? We just talk about real estate a lot because that's what a lot of our clients do. But no, we're a standard self-directed custodian.
Yeah.
So we can hold anything that the IRS allows you to hold within a self-directed retirement account. There may be specifications to how you can hold those certain things. For example, we can't hold stocks directly, but we do have a company that you can, a company or platform that you can work with. You would open an account with them to then be able to hold those stocks. So we do more than just real estate. It just happens to be what we do a lot of and what our clients do a lot of, either through private deals or buying their own asset classes.
Crypto's been a big one too, though, for sure. People like the idea that they can invest in crypto and have the wallet with their retirement plan. They're like, oh, that's amazing. I didn't even know I could do that.
We have crypto options available in the investment corner. So if you're curious, you can check it out. You can also give us a call or shoot us an email. We'll be happy to answer your questions or give you more information on where to look to find that information.
That's another benefit of having an LLC. You can invest into crypto, directly through your LLC, which is nice.
Yes.
Well, pretty much anything that you can do with the self-directed, you can do through the LLC.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And more.
So that has its perks. And with that said, one of the questions is, does Horizon Trust set up our checkbook LLCs?
We do.
Yes, we do.
Yes. We definitely do. It's part of our process to make sure that it's done properly to meet our requirements and IRS requirements. We want to make sure everything's titled properly, that the operating agreements read correctly, to be owned by the retirement account that we set up for you. So it is part of our process. You can schedule a call with us and we have to go over what those next steps look like.
And then there was a question to that said, can we use our self-directed retirement account to invest in into other investors purchasing a rental property using our LLC to their LLC? If so, what does that look like?
Say that again.
Right. So they want to use their LLC that they would have under the self-directed IRA to invest into another LLC.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that again, what's the structure? What that could look like? That could look like a lot of different things.
Let's make this question now.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things where Chris and her team are very well at helping understand what you're trying to do and then identifying, okay, what documentation is needed. And we'll break it down to maybe the simplest terms. You want to do a private money deal with a property which is going to be going towards a real estate property. You can do either unsecured or secured because you are doing it with a real estate property. So you are now securing that promissory note, that loan of 100,000, we'll put a number to it, towards property at 123 Main Street. So what does that look like, Chris?
So more than likely that would be a promissory note. It's a promissory note saying who the lender is and who the borrower is, how much money, what your interest rate is. It could be just a flat fee. It could be, as long as there's details on how you're going to be receiving your funds back. And you'll just kind of figure out like maturity date and things like that. You're adding more details. The more details, of course, the better. So you can protect yourself. And then as far as it being either unsecured or secured, you can just say at this date of maturity, I expect to have my money plus the interest back, and it's payable then. But in the event of default, if there was a default, you would go after them in a way where you're just asking for your payoff, asking for the funds back. But a secured promissory note means that you have a collateral, and that's typically real estate. And it could be against the property that you're sending the money for. If it's for earnest money, it could be a lien on that same property. When you have that extra security, that just means that if there was to be a default, you can claim the funds from that property, which is always a good feature to have to be able to collect more. But it's not a requirement.
It's not a handshake deal.
Right.
That's how I explain it to clients. I'm like, do you know the difference between secured and unsecured?
Right.
Unsecured, I trust you're going to give me the money back.
Yes. Yeah.
Secured is, I trust you, but just in case, I'm going to make sure that I get my money back.
Yeah. I mean, but that's one option though. It's
Mhm.
promising. No, I've seen joint ventures where you come together for, that purpose. You both come in together, and that's a really good option that a lot of people are kind of leaning towards now. So lots of different ways to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So like we mentioned, and we will continue to mention, we can't provide financial advice and give investment advice or anything like that, but we can help you understand what your investment is based on the details. So always reach out to us. We're happy to assist. Even if you're doing something from your LLC and you just want to make sure that you're being compliant within your self-directed retirement account, be like, hey, I want to purchase this property and it's going to be near a college so my daughter can live there. No, even though your LLC owns it, your daughter is a prohibited person, so she cannot live in the property that is owned. There's a linear line of asset classes. Yeah, so you want to make sure you're staying compliant, even if you're operating within your LLC. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean the IRS can't audit it.
Right.
I like that. I'm
part.
going to use that line. But I agree to your point. Like I tell clients all the time, like especially if I set them up with an LLC, I'm like, just because you have an LLC doesn't mean you can't call me. Like you're not all on your own. It's just, making things a little bit easier for you, but we're still here to answer questions. Like we pride ourselves on being there for everyone. So
yeah. And to that, one of the things that came up, excuse me, does Horizon charge a fee to facilitate this? No. So Horizon doesn't have any transactional fees. We don't charge you to do any wires, any assets, or anything like that. We just have an annual fee. So that's, can you talk about fees for a second? Because you're more versed in them than I.
So the fee structure is going to depend on the type of account that you have. So, it could vary if you have a 401k versus an IRA or a Roth. Typically, any type of IRA account is going to be based off of account value, a basis points. Any IRA account is going to be less than 1% of your account value. So the fees are really minimal. The more money that you hold, the lower the fees are, the lower the base points are. So again, a very small amount to actually hold the funds here. And to your point, it is all inclusive. So, you're not being nickeled and dimed for everything that you're doing within your account, which is what I would say 99% of other custodians do. They charge you for every transaction, money going in, money coming out. Oh, you want to hold 5 promissory notes? We're going to charge you $200 per promissory note that you're holding in your account. And oh, you want to wire that money tomorrow? That's going to be another fee. So I love that about our company. I talk about it all the time, how it's all inclusive. We're doing everything for you for that small annual fee. And I think that it's completely worth it just to have it all inclusive and not worry about all those little things that you're doing. Like just focus on investing. We want you to get out there and make money, not worry about being nickeled and dimed.
Yeah. And then can you add more money to your SDIRA? So you've now set up your account and you want to add more money.
Course, yeah. So it'd just be based off a contribution. There are contribution limits. So I always tell clients, with any IRA, you can only contribute $7,000 a year of your earned income to that IRA, whether it's a traditional or a Roth. And then if you're over the age of 50, you did get an extra $1,000 catch-up contribution. So you can contribute 8,000. Typically that goes up every year. So, we'll update you as those limits change. Last year it was 6,500. Now it's 7,000. So you can always add those additional funds to it. And there's no limitations on the growth. So sometimes clients will ask me that, like, oh, I can only make 7,000. No, you can only contribute 7,000. You can make as much as you can make in the year within this account by investing it out. So there's no limitations on the growth, just on what you're actually contributing.
Yeah, and then to the point of the contribution limits, the IRS does tend to change them. They kind of have to do with inflation and however the market's doing and everything like that. So they'll update that information. We normally find out around November. That's usually when they put out their announcement of what contribution limits are going to be for the next year. And we have a little cheat sheet that's available to clients. It's on the form section of our website that lists every account that we currently have available at Horizon Trust and what the contribution limits are for that account, as well as, like Amber mentioned, the catch-up limit. So if you are over the age of 50 and you want to make catch-up contributions, you can then do that as well.
Yep.
Denise asked, are there any stipulations involved in real estate investments through your 401k? Can you purchase abroad, or does it all have to be done in the US?
Oh, I already felt the glares coming.
I knew that was the answer is yes, you can do it over, like, it doesn't have to be in the States, but that's as far as I go with it. I'm like, yeah, it can be done. And then I call Chris.
No, you're absolutely right. It can be done for sure. We have actually had lots of clients purchase property throughout the world. So it definitely can be done. The only thing is we don't have the rules on that country.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to just determine if that's something that you can. Yeah. If they will allow. Some countries will only allow you to purchase under your own name and maybe not under a third party, like your self-directed IRA. So
or an LLC.
Or or an LLC. So it's up to you to kind of make those investigate and kind of figure that out for yourself to see if that's something that you can do. Because on our end, we're just going to look for the requirements that we require, and we can process it. But if it's not allowable, that you might end up having to sell it, which is obviously not the best solution. But yeah, it's definitely possible. There's lots of things that you can do in other countries. That's completely fine.
Yeah, and it's not just real estate that people can do in other countries.
Right.
I think we've seen vineyards. We've seen mango farms.
Mango and durian
Yeah.
trees. Yeah, that we've definitely done that.
Yeah. So a lot of fruit-based items, agricultural items, people tend to do internationally because it's where it's available. And you're investing. You can invest personally.
Even
you can invest
investing into a multi-member LLC in another country. I've seen that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely possible.
So yeah, but like Chris mentioned, you just want to understand that your investment is allowed with what they're doing, because we're just going to check to make sure that it makes sense on our side, that it can be processed and that it will be compliant within the IRS's eyes.
Right.
So that's what we check for. We're not going to look up and see, can I buy this real estate property in Colombia for,
we're not doing the due
Airbnb
diligence for you. That is self-directed. That is your your requirement.
The question on contributions to adding more money is, if I'm retired and have no earned income, can I still contribute $8,000 a year if I'm 60 years old?
With no earned income.
With no earned income.
They're
retired.
To my knowledge, contributions always have to be from earned income. So if they're retired, where's the earned income that we're contributing? You can't, like, if you're getting Social Security money, like I don't know, people sometimes want to contribute that to their retirement plan. You can't do that. I've had a client that was just getting alimony, and that was a tricky one too, whether you can contribute alimony, because most of the time it's not, like, if you're not paying taxes on that money, it's not considered any earned income that you can actually contribute. So we can dig into it a little bit more on the phone, but
we have a compliance team that we normally ask some of these tougher questions, and then they give us an answer. So
Yeah, I
So
want to say that's correct though.
yeah.
You're right. I don't have 100% accuracy on that, so we
Mhm.
probably would have to escalate that to a compliance department. But I mean, if it's not contributions, the other option is you can still continue to roll over funds from another account
Yeah.
or transfer. So you're not just stuck to that one rollover or one transfer to bring money in. So if you have
Mhm.
some money anywhere else, feel free to bring that money over, and then you can use that to, of
yeah.
course, further your investments.
Yeah, you can absolutely consolidate any accounts. Most
Right.
most people change jobs during their lifetime.
Mhm.
So you could have retirement accounts sitting with an old employer that you don't even know about.
Hmm.
So that money is most likely not really doing anything or doing minimal
Mhm.
activity, since you're no longer employed there. So you can consolidate them by bringing all of that money from all those former employers to Horizon Trust, consolidating all of your money here, and then using that for your investments to help continue to grow it. Even if you're retired and unable to make additional contributions, you're still growing your account by consolidating those funds.
And I believe if you had earned income throughout that year, you know what I mean? Maybe you had earned income in January, but then you retired and you didn't have any additional earned income. You still had earned income that you pay taxes on at one point, like throughout that year. So I feel like that would be eligible to contribute. It's just if you had zero earned income for the year, that would be where definitely just, again, I would refer my client back to their CPA just to determine how much that they can contribute because that,
Absolutely.
it's a CPA question.
Um, Another question that came in was, um, let me make sure I'm reading it correctly, just because um,
You're jumping around.
yeah. So if I do a rollover IRA to invest in a Roth, do I need to roll the funds direct to Horizon or through my LLC to Horizon? That came from Michael. So Michael,
Say that one more time.
if I do a rollover IRA to invest in a Roth, do I need to roll the funds directly to Horizon or through my LLC to Horizon? So I feel like there's a little confusion. There's a rollover aspect and then there's an LLC aspect that's being mentioned, which are two separate aspects.
That
So I
sounds
think it depends on where we're starting from. Because to me, if it is it a 401k and you're trying to do an employer contribution into your account and then move it into an investment LLC.
mhm. That's what I heard.
Um,
It sounded almost like, yeah, like going from transferring the funds over. Ultimately, yeah, you'd have to transfer them into your Horizon account and then move them into the LLC if that's how the question was being phrased.
well, I
Call me.
guess
So yeah, yeah, Michael. So we might
let's
need a
see.
little
I
we
guess,
might need a
yeah, we
little
need a
bit
little
more
clarification on
clarification on
that.
that one. But roll over to the IRA to invest in a Roth. So let's take that aspect. So I'm the rollover to an IRA is assuming that it is rolling over from another retirement
Mm-hmm.
account into
an IRA.
Horizon to then move into a Roth.
And then doing a conversion. Yeah.
So that's the conversion.
Yeah.
So do I need to roll the funds direct to Horizon or through my LLC then to Horizon?
Maybe he's asking like his current, because sometimes your current custodian, wherever the funds are currently being held, they'll do the conversion on their end, and then you can just go Roth to Roth. So let's say, like you have an account, a 401k with Fidelity, and they're going to just go ahead and do the conversion on their end, and then we can transfer the funds directly from one Roth to a self-directed Roth. So you can do it that way. Again, some clients would just have us take care of everything for them. So either one's an option, or sometimes the current custodian won't do that for you, or they're going to charge you a big fee or something. So it really just depends. And that would be something, let's jump on the phone and really dive into.
Yeah. And then in a similar question, it's if I have a 401k that's sitting with a prior employer, do I need to roll it over first into an IRA and then work with you guys? And eventually, does this 401k that I'll be using to invest in real estate need to be paid off by the time I get to retirement age?
Be paid off. I'm wondering if there's a loan in that 401k. I'm not sure what you mean by paid off. To
Yes.
answer your
No,
first part of your question.
no loan.
Oh,
They,
okay.
they just responded.
To answer the first part, no, if it's in a previous 401k, that's just a tax deferred account. So we can always transfer it to another tax deferred account, whether that's going to be a solo 401k here if you qualify for that, or a traditional IRA, step IRA, a simple IRA, again, that would be where our consultation would come into play. But to answer your question in short, you do not have to convert it to an IRA where it's currently held to then move it here. We can simply transfer the 401k into whatever type of tax deferred account that we set up here at Horizon for you, depending on the plan that we come up together. And then what was the second
The
part?
second one was if the money is invested in real estate and then does it need to be paid off by the time I get to retirement age?
Oh, no, it doesn't have to be paid off. So, you can hold that investment until it forever. At 73 is when the IRS is going to require you to start taking minimum distributions in a tax deferred account. So at that point, the IRS just says you have to start liquidating a portion of your account. They say you've deferred taxes long enough. We want some of our money, but you can still continue to hold on to that property. You can completely distribute that property to you if you choose to. So if you're 59 and a half and you're like, okay, I don't want this property in my retirement account anymore. I want to just take it personally. You can take that as a full distribution in the form of a property versus like liquid cash that you would have. So in short, no, you don't have to, pay off that asset once you're 59 and a half or withdraw it.
And then I want to kind of elaborate on that real
Okay.
quick because you did say distribute the property. So you can distribute assets
Yeah.
from your Horizon Trust account
Mhm.
when you reach retirement age or at any point. We will distribute them to you.
Including your gold.
You
can finally hold it.
You can finally hold your gold. Yes. So you would be responsible for the taxes. So if you do have to pay taxes, that if you have any cash available in your account, then that cash would be taken to pay the taxes. If you don't have it, unless it's a Roth, yeah.
Yes.
There's that power of the Roth right there.
Yes.
But yeah, if you then don't have that, you kind of take that personally, and now you own that real estate.
Mhm.
You don't have to
Right.
sell it. You would
Because what if this is your dream home and
Yeah.
you wanted to live in this house once you retire? Yeah, you just change ownership.
You pay the taxes on the
Right.
home. Everything is done at fair market value, so you would need to get an accurate quote on what the value is of that home at that time. You
Mhm.
can't buy the home right now and then sell it or distribute it to yourself in 20 years and it's
For the
still
same
today's
value, right?
Like, we're gonna need accurate values at the time of distribution before we can process
But
it.
you could rent it out for 20 years and make tons of money on it
Right.
in your retirement account and then distribute that home to you.
Yeah. So distributing an asset from your account, typically most people choose liquid assets, right? So cash. But in this scenario, if it's an asset, it's an in-kind distribution,
Yep.
which basically just means you're taking possession of the asset. It no longer is going to be held by Horizon as the owner. Horizon Trust FBO, your name, right? As the owner, it'll then be in your personal name as the owner. So that's the
That's a
difference,
great
which is
question.
a really good option. I think that's what a lot of people typically want to use their retirement account for. Like they want to be able to take things out later.
Yeah.
And
It's just typically we think about it in the form of money, but we can do it in
Right.
assets. So
Right.
that was
That's great.
it's a great question.
So one last question, and then we do have to wrap up. We do want to respect everyone's time. I want to thank you, ladies, for being here with me today. Before we do get to this last question, I do appreciate it. It's very nice. And then the audience, there were some comments. Everyone appreciated it as well. So thank you both for joining us. And then for any questions that we do not get to, if you still need help, we are still able to assist you. Unfortunately, we just couldn't get to it during this webinar, but just give us a call or shoot us an email with your question. We're more than happy to assist, and we will respond as quickly as possible. Our team is very good at responding to the questions. So usually you'll get a response within about 24, 48 hours, 1 to 2 business days is our response time. But one of the last questions that I wanted to take, and it's kind of how we started, so I felt it appropriate to kind of end this way. It's regarding the 401k loans. Someone asked, what is the lowest interest rate used when borrowing from your self-directed 401k, and how do they work? So they might have jumped in on the tail end of it. So can we elaborate on the 401k loans one more time?
Yeah, no worries. So with the 401k loan, the interest rate, once again, whatever interest rate that is set, money comes back into your own account. So you're benefiting from that. I personally tell people choose an interest rate that you're comfortable with paying back because you have that 5 years, at maximum 5 years time that you're going to be paying back this loan. So choose something that's comfortable that you can pay back and that you would also benefit from getting your money. Now, as far as what is the interest rate, again, you said that typically
Self-directed.
right? Self-directed.
Choose.
Typically, we would say the interest rate is prime plus one, but interest rates have skyrocketed. So a lot of people choose not to do that interest rate. So we do have it set where the minimum that you can take is to 2%. That is the lowest that we will accept. But again, it's anything other than that, above that, you're free to go ahead and do.
What if I
Uh,
want to do a 50% interest rate?
Now can you pay it back? Would you be comfortable with paying back? Now remember, so the maximum that you can take at any time is $50,000 or 50% of your account value, but whichever is less. So if you're doing your max at $50,000 and you're doing a 50% interest over 5 years, I don't know. I'm not saying that you can't afford it, but a lot of people may not want to continuously
Yeah.
do that. So
Just be logical in it.
yes,
And we can't, once you've taken your loan, we can't change the terms of
right,
your loan. Your loan
That's a good
terms
point.
have been set.
exactly.
So that's one thing that you're going to want to make sure that you are comfortable with for the period of your loan, that you are taking it at the appropriate terms that you can pay as to not default on the loan.
Oh, and there's a great new calculator on our website where you can actually go and play with that
Yeah.
and look at, okay, if I want to take a $50,000 loan and this interest rate for this many years, it actually gives you a schedule of what those payments would look like. Thanks to this guy right here.
Yeah.
Like, he did a great job putting that together, and it's been a great tool for our team and for our clients and for future clients just to really get an idea of what that looks like for you. So
Yeah,
help
so
you
that-
make an educated
So that was
decision.
something that kind of came from you guys, where we were hearing a lot of that, and primarily from Chris, because Chris, working with everyone that's making their investments and everything like that, she hears the frustrations or the troubles that our clients have in making these investments or processing their requests. So we try to help in whatever way we can. So this amortization schedule, because we do require one for all loans,
Yep.
we have a calculator tool available on our website. So you can go to horizontrust.com. This tool is accessible for anyone.
Yep.
So whether you're a Horizon client or normal client who just wants to create an amortization schedule for whatever investment opportunity you are doing, or whatever the case may be, you can play with that tool, and it's set up specifically kind of with Horizon terms. We kind of put our clients in mind when
Mhm.
building this tool, so it might not work for everyone in your specific needs, but
Right.
for our loans, it works. And I
Yeah.
do believe it's been a moment since I've looked at it, because I did build it, but it's been a moment since I looked at it. I want to say that the interest is actually on a little slider.
It is on a slider.
Yeah.
It is on a slider?
It is on a
Perfect.
slider.
So you can even slide
Yep.
Yeah.
interest to see how much you can pay, and then you're going to see
What
that
you can
number
afford.
And
fluctuate.
then it breaks it down individual month by month. It breaks down your interest payments, your principal, and then a combined amount. So you can kind of see all of that. It'll even let you kind of pick your start date for your payment.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of see what that will look like. So it's a really good tool to have.
It is.
And so you can understand what those payments will look like before you even put in that application. So you can kind of play with that, then you submit it along with your application to us, and we'll be able to get that process. But it's an awesome tool. I love it.
Yeah. So again, if you are an existing client, we have many tools available for you. This calculator, we have an interest calculator to see how your investments can grow. We have the investment corner. If you're an existing client, just go ahead and reach out to us for that password if you don't have it. And for anyone else that has questions or anything like that, I did see that there was a link dropped in the chat, so you can schedule a call. You can speak with Amber or one of our other lovely reps here at the company to be able to help answer your questions. Whether you're an existing client or you're interested in opening an account because you found a lot of the information from today's webinar very helpful. So just go ahead and check that link in the chat. Most of the time we do get the question, will this replay be available? Yes, it will be. So we'll go ahead and get that out. Ladies,
Then you like and subscribe it.
then you'll like and subscribe it. Ladies, once again, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for
We
having
appreciate
us.
having
Thank you for the great questions, everyone.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone. We appreciate your time. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy your week.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. There's lots more great content for you to learn and enjoy and apply to. And so anyways, click on the link below and listen to more videos or set an appointment with us. We look forward to hearing from you and also helping you.